Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Ukrainians seem to strike inside Russia every day now, and they have a fixation with Belgorod Oblast. Now is that because it's close to the border with Ukraine? Is because that's where the Ukrainians think the Russians are vulnerable? I don't know. The fact is Belgorod was hit so many times, the Belgorod Oblast so many times, and no other oblast was hit like that. That's a problem with Russian defense systems, the air defense systems that are incapable of avoiding these attacks, and almost every time the Ukrainians are attacking targets in Russia, they cause destruction, and in this case there will be no electricity for some residents in Belgorod. Obviously the Russians will deny that was an attack. They say, well, it was a fire erupted or broke out or something like that, and somehow due to that fire the whole town, or I don't know how many thousands of residents, have no electricity. Just imagine that one of your, I don't know, neighborhoods, houses are set on fire, and then the whole city doesn't have electricity. It's kind of strange, isn't it? I would say so. So this article comes from Ukrainska Pravda from today, December 20th, 2022. Again, explosion sounds in Belgorod Oblast, Russia. Part of Shebekino city lost power. So Shebekino city lost power. There were explosions, plural, in the Russian city of Shebekino, Belgorod Oblast, which is not far from the border with Ukraine. Part of the city has been left without electricity, and there is a wounded person. The source is Russian Telegram channel Vyacheslav Gladkov, governor of Belgorod Oblast, on Telegram. And I'm quoting Gladkov. The Shebekino city district is being shelled. According to preliminary information, there is one casualty, a man with fractured forearm bones. The power supply has been disrupted as a result of the shelling. 1/3 of the city's residents are left without power. Again, according to Gladkov, there are also shells hitting warehouses on the premises of an industrial zone. So, later, Gladkov reported that storages, manufacturing facilities, and 2 cars were damaged with shell fragments in the territory of the industrial area. He stated that electricity supply was completely restored as of 14:15, which is 2:15 p.m. Boiler rooms are being restarted. Background: on the morning of December 18th, explosions were heard in the Russian city of Belgorod. A column of smoke rose above one of the houses, and the authorities reported the deployment of air defense and 4 victims. Vyacheslav Gladkov, governor of Belgorod Oblast, later announced that 1 person was killed and 8 others were injured. It was previously reported that the Russians are fortifying the Belgorod and Kursk oblasts of Russia with concrete pyramidal anti-tank structures known as dragon teeth. All right, well, interesting from so many angles. One, why would Ukraine focus on this area? And they're all close by. At least they reported that it was shelling. It was not a broke out because I don't know, someone was using a candle and it fell on the hay, and the fire was right there. At least they recognized that it was an attack. On the other hand, I didn't hear this was a Ukrainian media outlet, didn't say anything about the Ukrainian army saying, yes, it was us. If you mess with us, we're gonna you up. No, I didn't hear that. And I don't know if that is, how should I put it? I will give you a little scenario. This is a scenario. When you want to use the population and rile the population to support you, then you create panic. You create panic, and the panic that you create, you channel that panic towards the enemy. Therefore, there are many times when certain kind of, in certain kind of circumstances, how should I put it mildly? I'll put it directly, not mildly. Military of the same country that supposedly was attacked actually organized that attack. So faked it, false flag operation, to point out that the other ones did it to rile these guys up against the enemy. And the enemy's silence or denial sometimes could play a role. Now it's Russia probably tries to keep a record of how many bombardments were conducted by the Ukrainians on civilian targets. Why? Because they want to counter the other side's accusations of war crimes and targeting civilians and so on. Probably it's going to be at one point, if they get to that point, it depends how this war ends, because if Russia is nilled, then it's zero. All this evidence that they gather and they write it down is going to mean nothing. We're not going to hear about it in 20 years or so, until it's going to be politically correct to say, hey, actually the things that were 20 years ago are not quite so, but it's too late. We already everybody that we needed to, so now we can tell you the truth. It's all done. So if Russia is nilled, this evidence that they try to gather and put and write down and document is going to mean nothing. Now, if this war is going to continue on and off, these guys are going to say, yeah, you kill civilians and you attack civilian infrastructure. This guy's going to say, nah, we didn't. You did. No, you did, and nothing. It's just throwing garbage at one another. But that's the way it is. Probably the United Nations and the media will do its work, which is cover for these guys and expose the other ones, or over expose the other ones. And that plays the same way, because media is just a way of forming opinions. And they report incidents or news, but then you almost always you have a person who's going to tell you, explain to you what you must understand out of those incidents. And that is when they try to weasel you out. And that is the way they say, hey, this is expert. And how they do it? First, they call that person an expert. Could be. Secondly, they is a professor emeritus of a very known university, or is a person who worked in the system, like, I don't know, in the intelligence. So they try to build that person's authority. Therefore, as a child, you're taught very much to respect authority at all times, and don't react. Just go and tell mommy, go and tell the teacher, go and tell police. Everybody, do not interact with your friend and try to solve the problem or defend yourself. Someone else will do that for you. Inaction, inactivity. Remember, let's say you take the colonies here, the 13 colonies or whatever, they fought the British, right, for their independence, and they would not have done that. They would have gone and asked France to go and talk with the Brits and say, hey, come on, man, you're a little bit unreasonable. What are we going to do about it? But they didn't do it. But we are all supposed to work within a system, which is fine. So in this case, we have groups, and people will try to keep things on their, they have their own agendas. This is what actually happens in everyday life, unfortunately. And we don't have a middleman to mediate, because both sides are too powerful. So who's going to get in between? United Nations? Who? China? Who's going to get in between Russia and United States? Nobody can get in between. So, and the other thing would be, in case Russia wins, which is what? Have Ukraine neutral, that would be keep those territories that they got, NATO out, denazified, demilitarized, that means neutral, and no army, so you can't have thoughts of doing anything to anybody, but on the other hand, you have to have guarantees that if someone intervenes, everybody else is bound to intervene on the other side and that guy up. And that would be a Russian victory that they wanted, at least the minimum that they expressed. If that happens, probably it's not going to be a, you know what, you owe me this, no, you owe me that. Because there will be like a mutual destruction. It's like you have the reparations here in the United States, like so-called reparations for this and this and that. You're not, there's so many details and angles that if you take them, and you must take them into consideration to analyze all that, possibly people who ask for certain kind of reparations, maybe they get in a situation that they have to pay reparation for the other ones that they ask reparations from. So, but they don't think that way, because they take only this part and they think this is how it is. This is based on this. I'm owed this, but they ignore the rest of it, which it's factual, and say, okay, all right, this was taken from you, but this was given to you. So you owe us this much minus this much. How about that? And then you're going to be like, no, and then name calling and so on. They don't want to take everything into consideration. They will want to take only this thing. Well, if you're just, you have to take everything that's, pertinent to the issue and say, well, that qualifies here, that's relevant here. Otherwise, it's no justice. So the same here with these guys. Yeah, you owe me, you destroy my infrastructure, you did that too. Yeah, but you attacked me. No, you killed those people first. Well, we didn't kill those people first. Yeah, you're illegitimate. What do you mean? You overthrew the government in 2014. Hey, by the way, you're guilty too. Why am I guilty? Well, because you supported those guys. Me? Yeah, I know. Everything goes. Yeah, but about the Budapest 1994 memorandum? Yeah, but you broke that when you illegally overthrew the legitimate government. So that we're not bound by that at that time, right? Remember, Crimea and all Donbass and all those regions over there did not act crazy or in a separatist way until the outside forces, and we know exactly who those are, helped the traitors inside Ukraine overthrow a legitimate democratically elected government. That would make those guys traitors by any dictionary definition. So then that triggered the whole shit. All right, that coup armed with insurrection, with weapons and killings and all that. And that was an insurrection. Maybe you can get it to that point, reaches that. Anyway, it was an illegal, not it is illegal, but it's an illegal, bloody overthrow of a legitimate, democratically elected government. That, after they overthrew it, they were recognized, those guys, by the people who like democracy. Isn't that something? Yeah. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.